Hello there and welcome to the video. I'm going to look at a game that I played at the European Club Cup in 2019. Now the European Club Cup, as the name suggests, is a tournament of chess clubs from Europe. We have 6 players per team and we show up in one location. This time the tournament was held in Montenegro. It was very nice to come there. I had never been there before. Played this tournament on a number of occasions, in Turkey, in Austria, all around Europe. And it's always a nice opportunity to play against strong players. I had some scalps and, had the chance to play some top players like Victor Bologan and Konstantin Landa, several strong grandmasters. And, I went with my club, the Reykjavik Chess Club. And we had a decent team. We had the Icelandic champion on board 1. We had the former world junior champion on board 3, Helgi Gretarsson. Then we had Mohamed Esat from Egypt on board 3. And a veteran grandmaster, Margir Petersson, board 4. I was board 5. And international arbiter Omar Salama was board 6, my good friend. So we had a good fun team, and it's always a fun tournament. And my intention was, in playing this tournament, was to play more tournament chess. I do have 2 international master norms, so I was intending, at the time, to play more tournaments. Start to study my openings a little bit more and play tournaments. But as we know, things, took a turn for the worse at the beginning of 2020. So those plans are on hold for now. But hopefully, in the future, I can finish my international master title. I think that's a reasonable goal. Still, we have some people, coming from the street basically at the 20 plus and they want to become GM, which is not a realistic goal, if we want to be, fair. But okay, this was the first round. This is a 7-round tournament, and we faced a chess club from Italy, and my opponent was named Nicola Pienabarca. And the chess club we played against, I think, is what was called Arocco. I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, we were high rated on most boards, and we should have won pretty easily. And in the end, we managed to do so. But we had a few scares. But anyway, my opponent played the Grunfeld. So, preparing for the game, I was thinking if I should play a line that I had been looking at with some of the Icelandic youth players that played at a tournament in Slovakia, the European Individual Championship for juniors. I had a line there that I liked, but I hadn't studied it in depth. And when I started to look at my opponent, I saw he also played the line with white. So I had some second thoughts. And in the end, I decided to fall back on the London. And that's the good thing about the London system, is that I think it's a good supplementary opening. If you have no ideas in the preparation, play the London. So it's good to fall back on. I'm not sure it would be, super great to have it as your main weapon, but as a supplementary weapon, definitely something to, to have in your arsenal. Anyway, on with the game. My opponent played c5. I played e3. And now he played b6. A very reasonable system. I like to play this myself with black. However, I like to, after knight b to d2, which is a very sneaky move. With black, I like to take on d4 here. And I'll show you why in a second. Now, I have to give credit to Eric Rosen a little bit for this one. I knew about the trap, but watching Eric Rosen, one of Eric Rosen's videos, really, taught me a lot of things about this trap. So I was well prepared for this particular line. My opponent played bishop b7, which looks very natural, but it turns out that black is facing a lot of difficulties now after this cheeky move, knight to c4. Breaking some opening principles, moving the second piece twice, But however, we are attacking, some vulnerable points in our opponent's camp, so we can break these principles. And this is why I like to play, if we back down here, this is why I like to play this first. Because now white does not have the opportunity to take on c5 and increase the pressure on this square, the d6 square. So bishop b7, I play knight c4. And now the problem is, if you play a normal move, knight c6, bishop b7, something like this, let's say bishop b7. Then I take on c5. Then I place the knight here. Let's say he takes with a pawn. Already black can't castle, and it's a little bit annoying for him at the very least. We get the bishop here and the fine position. It's by no means lost, and maybe even bishop d6 is a move as well. But it's very uncomfortable for black, and many people react just like my opponent did. They play d5. But this is a bad move. Now we can move the knight for the third time, but now it's on a very good square and covering a lot of good squares, and this jack looks very threatening. The best move, which my opponent did not find, is, believe it or not, to play bishop d6 and then to move your king here. I once had this in a blitz game, incidentally against my teammate in this European Club Cup, and he found the way to play on with a king move, king to e7, and he was able to fight, and he probably won that blitz game, even though I should have won, but that's blitz. Bishop d6. The problem is if you play knight f d7 or knight b to d7, in both cases I play bishop to b5, I pin this knight. I guess you want to break the pin, because otherwise I will take and bring the other knight in. But then we play knight g5 and we hit you on the other side of the board. And now f7 can't be covered. You take the bishop, I take with the e knight, and then I take a rook. And I even get back, and I have some threats. This will hang, this will hang. Happy thoughts for white. So seeing that bishop b5 was very annoying, he decided to play c4. And up to this point I had more or less blitzed out my moves, and I also more or less blitzed out knight g5, and this is move 8. And at this stage I'm looking around the hall, big hall with like a lot of matchups on 6 boards. We have hundreds of players, and I'm like, okay, he might even resign here. I'll be the first one to finish a game at the European Club Cup. Start looking around. Meanwhile, my opponent is like, what can you do? This is gonna drop. But he didn't resign, and I wasn't the first one to finish. I think rook g8 is the most decent way to try to play on here. He played b5, trying to get some play, but obviously it's not enough. h6. Okay, he's giving up the exchange, just finding a good way to do it. Took here, he took on g5. And now trying to get some play with b4. But I found a good way to, try to finish development. I took on f6, and the idea was to get the queen here. And, okay, he moved the king. And here I was very attracted by the fact that I can bring my bishop out and utilize the pin here on the 5th rank. And I took on c4, bishop takes c4. He played knight c6. If he were to take on c3, I just castle, and this isn't dangerous because I can always give this check on f7, and he's not loving life. b7 hangs, e6 hangs, because he has to protect b7, and things start dropping. So knight c6, and now I play bishop e3, and I want to castle, so he tried to stop that, but c4, still utilizing the pin. Okay, he gets a pawn back, but now I get to simplify, take the queen, bishop a4 check. This probably wasn't the best way, but I just wanted to find like a clear way to simplify, because I'm up a lot of pawns as well. I'm up the exchange and 2 pawns. So even though he gets something like this, I took an f8. I was thinking about castling also, just castling queenside, which is probably absolutely fine. But this was good. I took this, I think intending to castle queenside. But he played this first. But then I have this in-between move. King d6, rook here. And he, in fact, resigned the game. So, yeah, 23 move win. I wasn't the first to finish, but I was pretty darn quick. And, yeah, a big relief because, well, I hadn't played abroad for many years. And, you know, there are always some nerves when you play an international tournament and you haven't played for a while. But, yeah, this was successful. And I know some people were, you know, liked the London video with Karakamsky, the last one. So I thought I'd, you know, give you another London video. And a successful one, you know, just to show you, you know, I don't only, you know, tell you to play it, I play this myself. So, you know, I like the opening. And, well, maybe I'll show you more games if you want from this tournament. It wasn't like super successful in any way. I was very rusty, but I think I played some decent chess and might be fun to go over these games. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.